are you? Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 23rd Eastchester Board of Education meeting. It's nice to see so many people here tonight for so many good things. Before we kick off tonight, I'd like to turn it over to Lucine Cassidy for the high school students report.
Thank you. Good evening, Eastchester community. Here's a few events that have been going on in our school. Ski Club has been off to a great start. This year, we've had some returning members along with a great deal of more students. We highly recommend students to check out Ski Club as a way to meet new people and engage in more activities during the weekend. The Eastchester Middle School Players Club delivered a terrific performance in Beauty and the Beast with the help of some of our high school Players Club members. The students worked together extremely hard all year to produce such a wonderful production. A big thanks to all of the EHS tech crew members and musicians in assisting the students with the play. Congratulations to our Academic Challenge team for coming in first on their tournament on Saturday. The team consisted of Max Lynn, Ali Jaros, Matt Thompson, and Jack Pinocchio. Academic Challenge Club also hosted a trivia night last month. It was a great night with lots of participants, and the winning team earned $100. Next week, the Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society will be having a wax museum on February 1st in the high school cafeteria. The 30 members will be representing historical figures and will tell their stories to all the children in attendance. Kids of all ages, but especially elementary school students, are welcome.
The high school and middle school jazz bands will have a concert on February 14th. Come to support these talented musicians. The Jazz Club Weekend of Dance is next week, February 8th till February 11th. The dancers have been working for months, so come and support them in their performance. This Friday at 7 p.m., the Harlem Wizards will be coming here to Eastchester and playing against Eastchester's All-Stars. This game will be packed with excitement for kids and parents alike, so it's encouraged for everyone interested to attend and show their support. Money raised from this event will be going towards the Eastchester School Foundation. Huge congratulations to these remarkable young boys, Aiden Schultz and Sean Mannion, for being awarded all-state honors. Both boys achieved immense accomplishments throughout their high school football career. Last weekend, there was a big turnout at the August Nordone tournament from both Eastchester and Tuckahoe. Congratulations to our girls and boys basketball team for taking home the win against our rival team, Tuckahoe. Good night, and thanks for supporting all of us Eagles.
Thank you both very much for the updates. So as part of the board president's report tonight, I'd like to reiterate, Lucy, what you just shared about the EMS Players Club. I was lucky enough to be in attendance on Saturday night, and a very special thank you to Ms. Bonner and Ms. Rendy and all of the folks in the Players Club that partook in that event. It was almost sold out both Friday and Saturday night, and I can tell you, for those of you that didn't attend, you would have thought you were on Broadway. The time, the dedication, and the work that went into that was absolutely astonishing. That in and of itself deserves a major round of applause. And on the note of congratulations, I think a lot of us have seen on social media, a very big congratulations to the Eastchester Blue Devils cheerleaders for taking home first place at Atlantic City this past weekend. A lot to celebrate there as well. Now on to a couple of other things. I know there's been a lot of communication and information about the billboards, the digital billboards, I should say, that were put up in front of the high school and the middle school. What was installed were not the colors that we actually chose. Dr. Valenti and I spoke at length with our facilities department and the providers of that. Those billboards and the colors are being replaced by a committee that Elliot Sheldon has put in place to make sure we actually get what we ordered. So I just wanted to let everyone know that that is in the works currently right now. In addition, the end of last week, I and several of the trustees here were fortunate enough to do a building walkthrough of each building here in our district, from Waverly to Ann Hutch to Greenvale to the middle school and to the high school, to do a firsthand really experience of some of the places where we're potentially lacking in our infrastructure, looking at a lot of our classrooms, and planning very strategically for the future. What are the needs of the teachers in the classrooms? I was fortunate enough to actually speak to some of the teachers to do a real full assessment, and we will be doing a workshop on that, I believe, in the next month or so on some of the findings from that needs assessment. Along the lines of workshops, unfortunately, this is the first time we've met due to some snow and inclement weather. For those of you that didn't see, there was a communication that went out today in terms of looking at different scheduling options for our secondary schools. That workshop has been rescheduled for February 6th at 7 p.m. right here. There will be a live stream of that meeting that can attend. I know myself and a lot of the trustees are really anticipating some of the options there and things to explore and look at. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is going to be changed until there are a lot of discussions and a lot of questions that need to be answered with quite a bit of. In addition, with our Mental Health and Wellness Committee, myself and Chrissy Gagan, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight with Dr. Valenti, met with Michael Orth yesterday. He is the Commissioner of Mental Health for Westchester County. And again, along our lines of advocacy, we met with him to explore what are opportunities for Eastchester? What are we not tapping into that potentially we could? And there will definitely be more to come there. In addition, through our district clerk and Lori Parada, I thank you for all of your hard work and dedication. We are also working on setting up a meeting with Assemblywoman Amy Paulin to get in front of her and talk to her about some of the specific needs here in this community. As a lot of you probably saw, and Dr. Valenti is going to touch on this tonight, our advocacy work at the state level with Shelley Mayer, with Amy, is going to be critical and probably more important than ever before. That is something that myself and this board really commit to working heavily on. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my fellow trustees for any updates that they may have. Jackie, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Matt. So we are coming up to one of my personal favorite events, the Sweetheart Dance. For Ann Hutch in Greenville, it's a combined event this year. On Saturday, February 3rd at Molino's. Second and third graders, their session is from 2 to 4 p.m. And fourth and fifth grade, their session is from 6 to 8 p.m. The PTAs ask that you RSVP by February 1st. Tickets are available on the membership app. It's one adult per student. Please join us for a wonderful afternoon or evening. They'll have a DJ, photos, and I hear there are a lot of surprises in store, so you don't want to miss it.
Thank you, Jackie. Lori?
The Waverly Sweetheart Dance is the following week, Saturday, February 10th from 2 to 5 at Molino's at Lake Isle. There will also be a DJ, photo booth, and surprise entertainment. The tickets are on sale now, also through the Waverly membership app, so it should be a fun event.
Thank you. Christine?
Thanks, Matt. In March, on March 14th, the Handbag Bonanza will be back. This year, I'm told it will be at Molino's. I think more information to come, but there will be a full meal, and I'm told that it looks like they'll be getting a nice higher quality of stellar bags this year. So more information to come.
Thank you, Christine. Sean?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on this weekend. I had the pleasure of going to the skate event hosted by Ann Hutch and Greenville PTAs. It was really nice to see the joint efforts put forth by both of them. It's nice to see the community come together. I wanted to thank the Eastchester hockey team. They seemed to have a great time with the kids and doing everything there. It was a real pleasure, and I think we had 200-something people show up, so it was great.
Thank you. Rob? Good. Jill? Anything? Great. Thank you all for the reports. Dr. Valenti, I'll turn it over to you.
You do. Testing. We got Sound here? Testing. Members of the board and members of the community, let me begin the superintendent's report, January 23rd, with students, and we have many of them here tonight. Student recognition, our Forum Literacy magazine, the 2023 edition of the Forum, received first-class recognition from the National Collection of Teachers of English. 105 schools nationwide were selected. Eastchester High School is one of just 7 schools in New York State to receive the honor. So on that note, can I call up representatives for the literary magazine, our students? Come on up here, introduce yourselves, and we want to give you a big round of applause. Congratulations. You're the spokesperson? My name is... Okay, we're going to hear from Katie. And what grade are you in? A senior at Eastchester High School. Katie, the mic is yours.
Thank you.
Who are you speaking to?
Hi everyone, I'm Katie and I'm the current editor-in-chief of Forum. I have my fellow officers here with me. This is Mila Reichenberg and she's the social media manager, and Gianna Casino, the senior czar, Andrea Klein, the sergeant at writing, and Alex Warngard-Gill and Isabel Campos, the art directors. First off, I'm incredibly grateful that our hard work has been recognized by Realm. A popular question that comes up whenever I mention Forum is, what even is Forum? For those who don't know, Forum is a club for creative writers and artists to come together and produce a collection of works with a shared theme that flows like a story. This community works so hard in and out of the building to produce a magazine each year. We are so thankful to be named a Realm First Class magazine, and a special thank you to Mr. Benveniste, who couldn't be here tonight, but he's been nothing but supportive and dedicated to the club.
Did you call someone a czar?
Yep.
C-Z-A-R, as in czar?
Yes.
Would you explain your job? I'd love to know what a czar does.
I just make the table of contents.
Oh, okay. It's a mild form of czarness, yes. Okay, why don't we do a photo here, Michael, okay? Come on, guys, come on up here. Come on, come on. All right, very good. A few over here, a few there, here a few, there a few, everywhere a few. Got us all?
Yep, you're all in. Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Keep up the great work. Well, this next presentation, I think, is going to be a very special one. Is the middle school principal in our midst? Would Madeline please come up with your assistant principal? And I'd like you to do the honors of explaining with Jeanette what you plan to show us tonight. It's all yours, Madeline.
Pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I'd like to invite our middle school staff and students that are here to join us this evening. Join Ms. Sindel and I on the podium. Come on, everyone. All right, so while we get settled, good evening, Dr. Valenti, district administrators here with us this evening, members of our Board of Education, and of course, our members of our learning community. Thank you for this opportunity. I stand here before you today as a proud principal of our esteemed middle school, eager to share insights into a strategic shift that I believe will further enhance the educational experience of our students. I would like to address the rationale behind identifying our middle school special area classes as exploratory classes, and how it best aligns with the unique philosophy we uphold at this critical stage in education. Our elementary schools, students are exposed to a variety of special areas that help lay the foundation for their academic journey. These offerings are invaluable, providing a taste of different subjects and allowing students to discover their interests and talents. Conversely, at the high school level, students are presented with an array of elective options, allowing them to delve deeper into specific areas of study based on their evolving passions. Middle school, however, is a pivotal stage in a student's development, and it necessitates an approach that bridges the gap between exploration and specialization. This is where the concept of exploratory classes comes to play. By framing our middle school courses as exploratory, we are actively acknowledging the developmental stage of our students and offering them a unique set of opportunities. The term exploratory classes embodies the essence of middle school education by encouraging students to explore various subjects and career interests before they enter the most specialized phase of high school. It goes beyond mere exposure. It fosters curiosity, critical thinking, and a holistic understanding of the world around them. This approach aligns seamlessly with the middle school philosophy, emphasizing not just academic knowledge, but also personal growth and self-discovery. And so the shift to identify middle school special classes as exploratory classes is a deliberate and strategic move that encapsulates our commitment to the middle school philosophy. It reflects our understanding of the unique needs of students at this stage and our dedication to preparing them for the journey ahead. We are confident that this approach will contribute significantly to the growth and development of our students, setting them on a trajectory for success. Ms. Hindell and I are grateful for your attention and ongoing support as we continue to shape the future of our students and our community through thoughtful and student-centered educational practices. And now let's take a look at our practices in action through a prepared video presentation.
Hello, I'm Madeline LeBeau, the very proud principal of East Chester Middle School. At East Chester Middle School, we take great pride in our diverse array of exploratory courses designed to enrich the middle school experience and empower our students to delve into their passions. Our commitment to providing a well-rounded education is evident in the carefully curated selection of exploratory courses, each crafted to nurture the holistic development of our students. Now let's explore the exciting opportunities our students have within these offerings. The curriculum followed in our health classes is fully aligned with that prescribed by the New York State Department of Education. And as always, it is our goal to inform parents in advance of school presentations and specifically of the health curriculum, and to allow an opportunity for parental choice. We understand that each family has unique considerations, and we respect your right to decide whether your child will participate in these programs. Our middle school STEM class curriculum is designed to introduce students to a broad range of concepts and skills. The curriculum aims to foster critical thinking, problem solving, and hands-on learning experiences. Our middle school physical education curriculum is designed to promote physical fitness, motor skill development, teamwork, and a healthy lifestyle. The curriculum typically involves a combination of physical activities, sports, and health education. This year, we were lucky to add our middle school fitness center with the support of the Board of Education and our superintendent. Additionally, we offer Adventures in Music, which is our general music course. This program goes beyond the conventional music curriculum, offering a dynamic exploration of various musical genres, history, and hands-on activities. This year, we were lucky to add our World Language Exploratory course in the 6th grade, where students explore the 3 offered languages in the district: Spanish, Italian, and French. Middle school world language instruction in 6th grade typically aims to provide students with a fundamental understanding of our world languages. The focus is on introducing basic vocabulary, simple sentence structure, and cultural aspects associated with the language. We also hope that students will be able to make an informed decision as to which language to begin studying in the 7th grade. Our middle school study skills program is one of the district's initiatives that began this academic year. It is designed to equip students with effective strategies and habits to enhance their learning and academic performance. The focus is on developing skills related to organization, time management, note-taking, and other essential study skills techniques. I would like to express gratitude to the Board of Education and our superintendent for their unwavering support in implementing and sustaining our valuable exploratory programs. Their commitment to the educational success and well-being of our middle school learners is truly commendable. I thank you for investing in the growth and development of our students, fostering an environment where they can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Your dedication to providing quality education is making a positive impact on the future of East Chester's learners. We take great pride in offering such well-rounded exploratory exploratory course options at Eastchester Middle School that not only meet the New York State career and technical education standards, but exceed the expectations. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start with our study skills presentation.
Hello, my name is Kate Huggard, well, Miss Huggard, and I am new to the district this year, so honored to be here teaching the new study skills program. And luckily I have 4 of my wonderful students here with me to teach you a little bit about it. So, the 6th grade study skills course has been designed not only to equip students with academic success tools, but to provide them with executive functioning strategies for everyday life. Through this presentation, we're going to be talking about 5 pillars. So these were what we had in mind when we created the program and what has been really the structure that we followed. Number 1, effective time management. Then we have literal studying, clear communication, mindful habits, and most importantly, student empowerment. So to start off with something that I'm sure we can all benefit from is time management. Students learn the importance of time management and are given strategies to balance academic responsibilities and extracurricular activities. As adults, students will need these same skills to balance their work and home lives. And if I could have Johnny Chiotti come up and just talk a little bit about what we've done in class.
Hi, my name is Johnny Chiotti. In study skills, we learn about time management and how important it is for learning, and it could be used by using the Eisenhower matrix as an important part of learning how to manage time. Is organizing your tasks by how urgent and important they are. So something urgent and important for me is taking care of my dog. I have a Doberman. His name is Kane. Something that less urgent but still important for me is football. And something that less important but still is very urgent is for me cleaning my room. And something that's less urgent and not really that important to me is obviously video games. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. That was great. So I'm hoping to hear from some parents that when our students get home, they're able to prioritize their time better. We'll see about that. No, I'm just kidding. So then, of course, we have literal studying. And so students learn different note-taking methods that can help them retain essential information from lectures and reading assignments. As adults, the skill will also allow them to make sense of college lectures and even workplace meetings. So anyone can benefit from these skills. And if Gabby can come up and talk a little bit about the skills that we've learned in class.
Hi, my name is Gabriella Liodi-Passy, and we've learned a lot about skills to study and take notes in our classes. In 6th grade, teachers expect us to be more independent. Not only did we learn different reading strategies like skimming, scanning, and annotating text, but we also learned different methods of note-taking. The Cornell note-taking method is a very useful skill to use while you're reading a story or doing an assignment for your classes. For example, I normally use it for my science homework when I need to take notes and answer a few questions. First, you're gonna choose a title, so we could be reading a story about animals, so that would be our title. In the note column, we would put a few of the facts that we read in our passage, and in the cute column, put a few questions that you had at the end of the passage. In the summary box, you would put the answer to the questions or a final summary of that paragraph.
Yes, and to the dismay of many of my students, it's also a really important skill that we learn. Studies have shown time and time again that actually writing your notes increases your attention way more than typing. So if you're ever wondering whether you should be typing or writing your notes, the studies say writing. So of course, clear communication. Now, students learn what counts as good communication, both written and verbal, and focus on strengthening their own skills. Students can use these skills not only to collaborate effectively with peers, but to collaborate efficiently with future coworkers. Rowan?
Hi, my name is Rowan, and study skills was a very helpful class for me. And basically, what we did is academic communication is not only learning how to send an email. So in study skills, we learned that an important part of collaboration is knowing how to disagree in a respectful and productive way. We also learned how to create presentations in order to persuade our classmates after formulating a claim.
And as you can see by the picture, there are some real life examples of collaboration that go on in this class. Okay, so now we have mindful habits. Now, students are taught the importance of maintaining small, helpful habits. We hope to continue the skills that are taught at home in the classroom and vice versa. So they learn organizational steps that they can take to make their school lives less overwhelming and learn to develop action plans to create new habits. Meg?
It is important to keep organized, especially when it comes to your schoolwork. By keeping your locker tidy, you will be able to locate items fast between classes. Just like your room at home, you should make sure that everything in your locker has a specific place. To do this, you can use shelves or magnetic pencil holders.
So I know that all of my students have extremely tidy rooms at home, so I'm super grateful for that. And of course, lastly, student empowerment. Now, we know that middle school can be a really tough time for students, so I find that 6th grade is a really wonderful time to really incorporate this and emphasize it. So at the beginning of early adolescence, it is crucial that a class like study skills cultivates positive study habits and self-motivation to make lifelong learners, because here at Eastchester, we love to learn. And Meg, if you can explain some SMART goals for us.
During the goal setting unit, we made digital vision boards. That's like a collage of different things we want to accomplish both in and out of school. When we set SMART goals and created action plans on how we could achieve them. So this is the SMART goals, kind of like template. So you want to make sure that your goal is specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant to you, and it's time-bound.
So thank you to Meg, Gabby, Rowan, and Johnny for joining me today. And it really is an honor to help spearhead such an exciting initiative within the Eastchester Union Free School District. Thank you, Dr. Valenti, Principal Lebu, the Board of Education, and the wonderful community for supporting such a great class like this and for having me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hi, buonasera. I'm Mrs. Logan. I'm the middle school Italian teacher, as well as one of the 3 world language teachers that teach our 6th grade flex program. So thank you, Dr. Valenti and the board for having us here tonight. We have some exciting stuff planned for you. I'd like our students actually to introduce themselves, or maybe my colleagues want to introduce themselves first, and then our students will introduce themselves as well.
Me llamo Senora Leptek. I'm Mary Leptek. I teach Spanish, French, and the Flex World Language Program.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Vincent Gabriel. J'enseigne la classe français, italien, and espagnol, and I also have several Spanish 7 classes. Thank you.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Maggie.
Hola, me llamo Eliana Baez.
Buonasera, mi chiamo Indiana.
Hola, me llamo Sophie.
Buonasera, me llamo Sanvi.
Hola, mi llamo Awik Kobayashi.
Buonasera, mi chiamo Gabriela.
That's everybody?
The first poem that the students will demonstrate their knowledge is Filastrocca del Vocali. It's an Italian poem that they use to learn the vowels. So come on out. They can stand there. Just if you stand over here, along the microphone. And you go to recite Filastrocca del Vocali. We'll start with Sono cinque le vocali.
Sono cinque le vocali, sono lettere speciali. Filastrocca della A, la che vola qua e là. Filastrocca della E, l'erba verde sai perché. Filastrocca della I, c'è l'iguana proprio lì. Filastrocca della O, dove l'orso non lo so. Filastrocca della U, l'uccellino fa cucù.
The next song that we will sing is Alouette, and it's a traditional French song, and it really speaks to their emerging skills because the students have not yet started French, and yet they really are learning things very quickly. So we'll begin.
Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai. Je te plumerai la tête, je te plumerai la tête, et la tête, et la tête. Alouette, alouette, oh, alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai. Je te plumerai le bec, je te plumerai le bec, et le bec, et le bec, et la tête, et la tête. Alouette, alouette, oh, alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai.
This is a group that has not yet started French. They're amazing. Their skills are they're really picking them up. And then lastly, we have a song in Spanish, which is the language they're currently studying.
Los pollitos dicen pío, 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 cuando tienen hambre, cuando tienen frío. La gallina busca el maíz, el trigo, les da la comida y les presta abrigo. Bajo sus posadas acurrucan hijitos, hasta el otro día duermen los pollitos.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you to our staff and, of course, our students for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
A little more than 10 minutes, sorry. We sang, buonasera. Yeah.
Grazie.
Let's give them another big round of applause. That was a super presentation. Thank you very much. And what was so powerful about it is that I recall all the discussions last year, the board does too, during the period of budget, talking about study skills, exposing our youngsters to global language in grade 6. And what you see here tonight is the materialization of that. And it's an astounding victory, really, for Eastchester, that it went from an idea to a budget to a reality. And so we're here to celebrate that. Thank you. Okay, and we're also going to celebrate Mr. Jacoby putting me back into my superintendent's report, or one of his counterparts. Thank you. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, we'll move right along now. I'd like to talk a little bit about the proposed school calendar. I use the word proposed because the board will not adopt it until their February meeting at the end of the month. Right now it's under review. Would like comment where it's appropriate, please do so. As recently as today, we met with the teachers and again reviewed the current calendar. So this is not novel information, but on the same token, we would like to have it broadly discussed. The best way to examine a calendar is to take a hard look at it over a period of time. So in August, as you can see, we have 2 superintendent conference days. That's a change. We ordinarily have had 2.5. We thought we could use time more favorably and acceptably with only 2 in August. Labor Day and then the first day of school will be September 3rd. Moving right along, October, we will be celebrating the Thursday and Friday on October 3rd, 4th, Rosh Hashanah. And then, of course, on Columbus Day, those are traditional days that our calendars follow. In November, it gets a little bit more complicated. Our first superintendent's conference day in the school year, and that will be on election day. So students will not have class, but the faculty will be there for their 3rd conference day of the year. The 11th, Veterans Day, obviously is a holiday, and then our tradition is early dismissal on the day before the Thanksgiving holiday, 28-29. December, we go right through to December 20th, when again, beginning the holiday celebration there of Christmas and the holiday recess, we again have an early dismissal, and that will carry us right into January. And we were fortunate to be able to identify holidays right up to the 3rd of January. So that is one of the few times we can give a longer traditional holiday than we have in the past. The 20th is Martin Luther King Day, traditional celebration. The regents are the 21st to the 24th, and the governor has now announced that there will be a new state holiday. It is called Lunar New Year, and so that will be on Wednesday, the 29th of January, and then of course we're back to finish off the month. February is fairly traditional. We take that winter recess, President's Week as it's been traditionally called, and again, before an extended holiday, contractually, we have an early dismissal. March is pretty much a straight run until the 31st, and there we are having a conference day in honor of Eid, which is one of the celebratory days that folks in the community do take advantage of. So students will be off, but our faculty and administration will be working that day. April, again, we are looking at the Passover Easter recess. It occurs contemporaneously. The 11th will be the early dismissal again, and then we'll carry that right through to the 21st, and students return for the remainder of the month. May, we managed to get in our last conference day on the 9th. That's a full day. Faculty and staff work. Students will be off. And then at the end of the month will be Memorial Day. And June, we wrap it up with the Regents exams, beginning rather early, June 4th, and going on to right through a good portion of the month. June 19th is another recent holiday called Juneteenth, and the last day of school is now June 27th. A couple of other comments. I mentioned superintendent conference days. There are 5. They're full professional days. There'll be no school on those days. Obviously, the 2 in August, the school year has not yet begun, but we take advantage of that in order to reach our minimum number of 180 days. Tuesday the 5th, Election Day, and I mentioned the other 2 celebratory days, Eid being March 31st, and then May 22nd being the conference day. So those are the 5 conference days. I mentioned earlier the new state holiday, a Lunar New Year, on the 29th. And so this brings us then to 183 instructional days. That leaves us 3 emergency closing days. Some people like to call them snow closing days, but there are other emergencies that could warrant the closing of a school. A boiler goes, or electricity is lost throughout the region, et cetera. Excessive rain causes flooding, et cetera. So we've had all of those calamities this year, if you recall. So you have to minimally start off with 3 emergency closing days. And if we don't use them all, we will let you know what days will be put back in for holidays. If we have to go over 3, hopefully not, then the district will have to take days from the April 2025 vacation, and we'll announce those with the issuance of the new calendar. So on that note, I did want to give folks a bird's eye view of what we can look at for next year. And as I say, the board will be adopting the calendar in the new year. Were there any questions from, yes, Jack, Dr. DeMarco?
Thank you, Dr. Valenti. So I'm just looking here at slide 16, Friday, May 22nd, no student classes. Did you say that was for a superintendent conference day? Because on slide...
Slide 16?
Yes, but on the May calendar, on slide 14, it says the 9th is the superintendent conference day, not the 22nd?
That was a good pickup, Jackie.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, it's, so,
I
well, it
believe
also
the
says
9th is
Thursday, May
accurate.
22nd, not Friday, so I don't know if
yeah,
something's off with the
The 9th
dates.
is accurate, and the date noted here, the 22nd, is not correct. But we'll fix that.
Okay, thank you.
you.
And
So
all,
the calendar is correct, just the notation of the May
The
date
calendar is correct, the notation
on 16.
is
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And also, since that's Memorial Day weekend, I'm not sure if you mentioned that, do we close on Friday, the 23rd, if we don't use emergency days?
So, since you raised the point, that's another good point, I didn't want to get into too much detail, but in talking to, I mentioned we met with ETA today, we did sequence if 3 days are left. That means if you don't use 3 days, then we would have all the days surrounding Memorial Day, the Friday and the Tuesday, and maybe the prior Thursday. If we use one of the days, then we'd still hold on to 23, 27, and then I think the last one to go is the 23rd. I'm trying to recall. Is that right, Claire? Last one to go?
It's, the first one to go is the 27th, the next one to go is the 22nd, and the last one to go is the 23rd.
Got it,
Good.
okay.
Thank you.
And then the last question was, the elementary half-days for the parent-teacher conferences, not in this calendar yet.
It's
right?
not here. Obviously, we will be working with our elementary principals to find those days. We wanted to get a calendar adopted first,
Okay.
and then be able to proceed forward.
Got it, thank you.
Yeah, I also should mention that since we've reduced it to 2 conference days in August, what I'm asking the elementary principals to do for purposes of kindergarten and second grade orientation, I think is the appropriate term. They were conducted sometimes in August after a conference day, and that became a little bit cumbersome simply because not all teachers were necessarily available. So I'd like to incorporate orientation for both kindergarten and grades 2 in Greenvale and Hutch within the first week of school, so that we know we have all the teachers, they're there, and parents, and then could have a greater opportunity to interact with the teachers.
And Dr. Valenti, just along those lines, that's a good improvement because I also know from the perspective of parents, a lot of them aren't around during that time in addition to the teachers not necessarily being around. So I think that'll be beneficial to everybody.
Yep, and I think everybody is on the same page with that. I think the ETA has agreed with us on that as being a wise move. Okay, okay, good. So, and if anyone has any other comments on the calendar, let us know. But you will receive this calendar for adoption at the end of February. A word or two about the governor's state aid proposal. We're not happy. This year, we're receiving $16,347,494. We were happy this year. The governor's proposal for next year is a proposed decrease of $429,000, or 2.6%. Now, Eastchester was not singled out. Obviously, this was a district-wide, a statewide decision, but we're looking to repeal it, and I'd like to give you some reasons why. What's wrong with the governor's proposal? Well, number one, foundation aid is dropping. So they gave us a certain number this year, and that's your fundamental aid that supports your educational effort. We don't believe that should drop 1 penny. And other aids were dropping to $250,000 or more, categorical aid, transportation, and building. So across the board, the governor's proposal has been reducing aid across multiple categories. We don't believe that's in the best interest of our children. What's further wrong with the governor's proposal is that she has made the decision that the inflation factor of 4.1 is too high, and she prefers 2.4. Realistically, we're facing, on average, percentage increases in inflation between 3 and 5%. And in some instances, I can report tonight before the budget, health insurance is going up 11% for all of our consortium districts. So in the scheme of things, 2.4% is not going to do it. And we'd say, why change what's working? Keep it at 4%. The other major problem with the governor's proposal is for decades, 30, 40 years, we've had the save harmless provision that schools would receive the same level of operating aid in a subsequent year that they received in a prior year. She's changing that. She's tampering with that provision. And we would advise her not to do that for a very simple reason. If someone says, well, declining enrollment, well, we will have a certain decline in enrollment for next year. But you can't do that one-for-one. For example, we have declining enrollment for next year, but we may have to increase our teacher-student ratio by 1 because it depends how the numbers fall out. So it's not a simple thing of looking at 3,360 students and saying, well, you're going down to 3,330 K-12, ergo, we're going to take money away from you. It doesn't work out that way in the real world. Also, you still have to heat your buildings. You have to use HVAC. You have to do all of the dollar lifts to maintain those classrooms, whether they have 24 or 23 students. So that's another argument that we would make, that keep safe harmless, don't tamper with a good policy level move, and get us to inflation of 4.1. So let me stop at that point. I don't know if the board has any questions or comments. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Valenti. I mean, the one comment that I would just add to that is I think the open lines of communication that we have with Senator Mayer and the meeting that we have and the proposed meeting with Assemblywoman Paulin hopefully will help us to advocate to get our fair share and at least get back to where we were previously. So we'll be sure to keep the community updated on that. We are now up to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Jackie?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, which includes the following: 8 minutes, 9 personnel agenda, 10 Committee on Preschool Special Education recommendations, 11 pupil personnel recommendations, 12 business office recommendations, 13 educational and curriculum and instruction, 14 board policies.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Sean, all in favor? Thank you. We're now up to future meeting dates. As I said earlier, February 6th will be our work session, which is rescheduled from January 16th to discuss the potential of secondary scheduling changes and what those options look like. And then we will have our February 27th regular meeting, which will be a budget presentation. We are now up to comments from the public section. When you come up, please state your name and address for the record. We always welcome public comments and feedback, but please be mindful, we will not exceed more than 30 minutes. So that's 10 people at 3 minutes apiece in total for this portion of the evening. And each person has a hard stop at 3 minutes. I don't mean to cut anyone off, but to keep it going, I have to stop it at 3 minutes. As a reminder, this is not a question and answer format. Please refrain from mentioning any individual by name. If you do have a specific broader topic, please email the superintendent's office for a further discussion. Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Hong. I'm from 24 Brunson. First of all, thank you, Dr. Valenti, Board of Education, and staff, principal, teachers, and all the parents here. I saw only 4 people signed up, so I assume I can go 7 minutes instead of 3.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, but I appreciate the ask.
I do the math. I did the math. Okay, thank you. First of all, I'm here to represent the newly founded ECPA, which is Eastchester Chinese Parents Association. Since I'm here already, so they asked me to represent. I just want to share the information. We set up this organization in our town and started reaching out to all school districts, schools, and PTAs in the town, whoever would like to collaborate and help us grow, and we can definitely help each other. We would like to extend to offer the help. Second, I'm one of the founder families. It's a group of Eastchester families that founded this organization. I want to reiterate one of the parents pointed out, who is my husband. He spoke last time. He pointed out a good point. We are a few families, Eastchester local residents, a few Chinese families who are well educated. Half of the board members are holding a PhD degree. We are managers, engineers, scientists, professors, teachers, all over the industry, all over the world, all over US, contributing to our society. We are here willing, ready, and able to offer our help, and we sincerely ask all of our town, our school district, everybody, please collaborate with us. We are willing to help. The next, I want to share with you the news. On February the 10th, our ECPA is collaborating with the Eastchester Public Library to host a Lunar New Year celebration. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will have Chinese snacks, dumplings, a lot of games, and of course our librarian will share a lot of cultures and histories. It will be a great opportunity for our neighborhood, for our kids, for everybody. I have 10 seconds. And the last 10 seconds, I just want to share briefly, I'm really touched by the story Bonnie shared last time. I feel so heartbroken. I would like to continue the conversation. Done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sharon Lynn. I live on 50 Lawrence Avenue. I have a son at Eastchester Middle School and a daughter at Greenvale. I'm also a family physician, so I take care of everyone from their pregnancy all the way to their death. And in this long period of time, I've taken care of, unfortunately, people who've suffered from being bullied, domestic violence cases, persecution for religious, sexual orientation, you name it. I've seen a lot, rape victims. So From my perspective, I'll start with a personal story. When I was in elementary school, my best friend and I walked up to a younger student, and she had mini bracelets on, and my friend said, "If you don't give us some of your bracelets, we're gonna beat you up." And I didn't say anything. I was a bystander that didn't say anything. And a few weeks later, at school, the mother of the girl who we had bullied crouched down to my eye level and very nicely said, "Those words hurt my daughter." And she said, "Did you know that every day she couldn't come to school for a week because of those words?" And I didn't know. I really didn't know. And her mother taught me a great lesson of being a bystander and not saying anything. So now, many decades later, after hearing that one of our fellow, students in our middle school was physically attacked, and called racial slurs, and I heard about this, and I found out that both the school district and the Eastchester Police Department said it was not part of their jurisdiction because the children, all of which 4 are in the Eastchester Middle School, are minors, and the event occurred outside of school grounds. So this is an off-campus event. So as a parent at Eastchester, I'm sure many, many parents did not realize that if an event like a bullying situation, a hate crime, a violent situation happens outside of school campus, that no one is going to be like the mother who taught me a great lesson and say, this is wrong to the person and the bystanders involved. This is wrong. Bullying is wrong. So I implore every one of the board members to create a resolution, a formal resolution stating that the Eastchester School District will take care of victims and the perpetrators of any kind of bullying, and have consequences. And I don't necessarily think they have to come from the criminal justice system. The best kind of education to stop bullying needs to come from where they're learning. It's in the home, but it's also mostly at school, especially when all the people involved are students here.
Thank you. I believe, Dr. Valenti, do you have a comment that you'd like to make?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Finale. Can you make me live, Jacoby? How's that? Thank you. That's too live. That's about right. Doctor, thank you for your comments. And Wong, thank you for your comments. We met earlier today, did we not? Yes. And there were about 15 people in the room, correct? A couple of legislators from Westchester County, several of our administrators were there. The board doesn't know this, so I'm taking the opportunity to show that there's been outreach, legitimate, realistic outreach to the community, and we had some very good outcomes to the meeting, one of which was welcoming environment is part of our effort through DEI, and we did discuss at length. Dr. Chester followed up the discussion, Madeline LeBeau was there, on how we can better bring in more of our parent community representatives into the DEI effort. One of the legislators, I think his name is David Namara, he has recommended a curriculum framework that Dr. Chester would like to work with him on in terms of using some of those resources within our own school district. We did ask for a roster of speakers who may enlighten us more as to the history and culture of Asian Americans. So I thought it was a very productive meeting, and not the only meeting, but the beginning of meetings that we are pleased to have with all groups in terms of addressing realistic needs that exist with our children. I must correct the record with respect to the incident you referenced. It came up at the last board meeting, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps in December, and that incident happened over the Thanksgiving Day weekend in a park in Eastchester. That is not school property. And I want to make the point very clear that the district's authority does not extend beyond the campuses that we inhabit every day and the schools. That is a lot of property, and we're responsible for everything that happens on our campuses and everything that happens on our buses. But if an incident happens beyond the scope of the normal school day and off-district property, that initially, and I emphasize that adverb, initially is the province of the Eastchester Police Department. I can't comment on what the police department did or did not. That's between you and Eastchester Police. I can comment and say that if that incident begins to penetrate the school, in this case the middle school, by virtue of students bringing it from the outside inside, we will definitely take action. And action means from counseling to intervention to working with students to the extreme of appropriate levels of justice or restorative justice. So I want to assure, as I think I tried to do today, assure all members of the community, A, your children have never been safer in Eastchester schools than they are today. You never before had 4 school resource officers on our campuses, and they're here all day. You never before had the security support that you have this year, which extends to 6 p.m. in every elementary school and 10 p.m. in the middle and the high school. Safety is a priority for us. It runs us close to $2 million a year. We're not regretting that, but we're also not going to hide that under a shroud and say we're not making children safe. Now, if an incident occurs on school property, our principals immediately take action, appropriate action. And I can assure every parent listening, not just those in this audience, that our children are safe. And if there is a bias incident, or if there is some type of hate incident, or any type of negative behavior, we take action. We have incident forms to be completed, and we are very responsive to the community. So I did want to clarify some of the comments made and place them within the context of what we cannot do, and what we do on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Valenti.
I am Bonnie. I'm Ethan's mom, 192 Garth Road. I attended the meeting this afternoon, and again, I talk about the importance of having Chinese in school. Last time I was here, I talked about as an Asian mom, Asian American mom, what my son and I have put up with during the pandemic. So today I brought up the importance of having Chinese as one of the foreign language choice in school. We now have French, Spanish, Italian, plus English, of course, the main language. All of these are Western languages. There isn't one single Asian language. There should be one. It is Mandarin. New Rochelle has Chinese, White Plains has Chinese, Scarsdale has Chinese. Why we can't have Chinese? I have been teaching my son Mandarin since he was 4 years old. No matter how busy I am, I come home, I at least speak to him 15 minutes in Mandarin. Recently, I told him China has a problem. China does not have enough babies. The government is doing things to encourage people to have their second or third baby. And because if China doesn't have enough babies, in 20 to 30 years, their economy will slow down. Ethan asked, do we have this problem here in this country? I said, no, because we have lots of immigrants coming in every year, legal and illegal. And then Ethan said, then why China can't have immigrants just like us? You see, global thinker. When you have an Asian language in school, you help children to become global thinker. Someone told me this afternoon, if we have Chinese, we have to consider a lot of things. For example, the French teacher, I'm sorry. her job. What are we going to do? 100 years ago, when the first car was invented, the horse wagon business panicked. They hated it. They worried that they're going to lose their job. They did lose their jobs. But is everybody's life better or worse? This country is a great country because we put children first. I have a dream that my son and his friends, most of his friends are non-Asian. I have a dream that he and his friends can speak wonderful Mandarin, and because they have global thinking skills and wonderful problem-solving skills, in 20 years, in 30 years, they're gonna work with the young people in China, in Taiwan, in Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, in countries, in many countries. And they're gonna do great projects, and they're gonna make this world a better place for all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Deb Phyllis Ryba. I live at 8 Scarsdale Avenue. Dr. Valenti and I met, I think it was a week ago or so, with my son, and you invited me to come to the board meeting, and I'm really glad that you did, because this was really informative. I learned a ton about the middle school, which my son goes to the middle school, but there's so many amazing programs happening there. I'm speaking tonight because I haven't spoken about my son's situation publicly, and it felt, when I was talking to Dr. Valenti, that it's important that I share that my son was sexually harassed as an 11-year-old in Eastchester Middle School. You know, I'm only able to speak about this now because it's been 2 years and we've gone through a lot of therapy. He couldn't go to Eastchester last year. His doctors told us he could not come back. I'm here to talk to you about the traumatic impact of bullying, and that it does in fact happen in Eastchester, and that we need to educate the parents of the kids that get bullied about how bad it is. Because I've heard things, that my son would say, like, and I'd be like, oh, whatever, they're just being immature middle schoolers. Like, just forget about it. It's not a big deal. Just focus on your friends and your work. And we try to blow it off, right? Like, my son's heard racial slangs in school, and he doesn't want to report them because we kind of, as a community, we want to talk about the good things and all of we want them to focus on their goals and all of the things we want them to achieve. And that is a distraction, and we know that as adults, but there are severe negative consequences to children when they are bullied. And it's different for every child, but I think we need an education for parents when they hear that their child is being called a racial slur, that we need to address it. And you've told us this, Dr. Valenti. We know that we need to address it, but frankly, it's really hard as a parent to, make a big deal out of something that, just leave it alone. They're just being silly. Like, you'd rather dismiss it. And what I'm here to kind of encourage the board is to help parents understand that we can't dismiss it, that we, as the parents that have children that are bullied, need to take action. And the board also needs to understand the severe negative consequences bullying has on our students. And I know my son's not the only one. There's lots of children who've been bullied. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vince Rendy. I live at 42 Water Street. This board is aware that the high school built a swell, which is a drainage system behind the field, the high school field. And in doing so, it not only changed the topography, but they also removed all the trees and bushes. Okay. Last year, a couple of property owners that are actually here today contacted the school to inform them that there was a breach on the swell, and very little was done. Several months later, the breach got worse, and it flooded my property and other properties. In December, a new berm was built. This is basically a 5-foot-high pile of rocks. Not only is it an eyesore, but it doesn't work, because in middle of December and January, light rain, and there was water issues still. I'm here today, and the rest of the property owners are here today to make sure that the board is aware that there's still an issue with this berm. Now, I understand, I personally wrote letters to Dr. Valenti. I've never got a response directly from him. I tried to approach you to discuss, to see what was being done. We asked to look at the plans as a group, as an individual. We were refused, we were delayed, and we don't understand why. Again, as a property owner and as a taxpayer, we need answers to the following questions from this board, especially since our letters were not addressed properly. 1, is there a plan to solve the present water coming from the school property? 2, will trees be replanted? 3, why is the building department not copied on the construction plans and the permits that the high school has? This board should have a policy in place to have any construction that requires permits to be filed with the town. There is no reason. I know that the New York State Department of Education doesn't require it, but this board should have the decency to provide this information so the taxpayers could look and see what they're doing, okay? 4, I'm asking for a copy of the file that you have on the construction of the swale, the project number that the New York State Department of Education requires. This drainage system has affected the quality of the people that live adjacent to the property. And I don't understand why the superintendent doesn't take calls on at least hearing people out. We need a real solution to this problem. Can you provide the answers tonight to these questions, or can you provide when?
Mr. Rundy, I apologize, we're a little bit over time. If you hang out tonight, I'd like to speak to you at the end of the meeting, which should be wrapping up soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Vincent?
Yes.
Hi, Vincent. Did Mr. Elliott Shield,
Never.
can I finish the question?
Go ahead.
Ever visit the neighbors?
Never. He visited when I
Oh,
called.
never, or did he
Let me-
visit?
let me get-
Let's
let
be
me
clear.
answer.
Yeah.
Because when I say never, meaning that after the fact. He only came by after I contacted the building department, the fire department, the school, that we had a river in our property.
Okay.
And they witnessed it.
All right.
Yes, he came
So-
with the architect, the engineer, and the building department. After that, I asked to see the plans of the berm. He delayed it, and he never called back. I asked your office to get the information, never provided the information. The only way that I'm gonna be able to get the information is through a FOIL, and that should not be the reason for this group to act this way. Okay, as a taxpayer, you should answer the phone and at least understand what's going on. It's a serious matter that we're having here.
No, I know it's serious, and I'm not in any way diminishing the seriousness of it, but you've established that our Director of Facilities did come and visit and examine the
In
situation.
September, we're talking
Okay.
about January.
Correct.
We're talking about in December when the berm was finished,
Right.
okay?
Also, do you understand that this is currently under litigation?
Well, right now, it is not under litigation because it's not a court situation.
Well, when we involve attorneys, This board has NYSER, which is an insurance statewide that we all buy into. They are involved directly. Keenan Bean, our attorneys, are involved to some degree. And we are trying to resolve the problem legally so that we're able to manage it from a neighbor point of view, okay? I don't want to be judgmental about the plans or about the work that's been done under this bond project. That's what's currently being investigated and litigated. So we have not forgotten the neighbors in any way, but there are limitations on what one can discuss privately or publicly until the attorneys have had their shot at a particular issue. Okay? I don't know, Louise, if you have something to add. I know you and Elliot have been monitoring this on a daily basis, I could assure you. It's on our radar, Vincent, and you
Well, I'm
know
glad to
that.
hear that, because
You know
that's
that.
exactly why I'm here, because I want to make sure.
Right. It's
that
on our
everyone's
radar.
aware of it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I do know that I've been in touch with Mr. Sheldon, and he has reached out to you. And the documents that were publicly bid are available attached to board minutes. But so, I mean, you could peruse that. I was of the impression that he gave you digital copies of the specs.
No,
So
no.
I will follow up. But I do want to, resonate what Dr. Valente said. We are treating this as litigation. We do have a couple of FOIL requests that we are actively working on. And, we've had conversations with our counsel about what is appropriate to be shared. So you'll be hearing from us. But I also, I'm very compassionate to the circumstance that you've presented, and I don't want to not seem compassionate to it, because I do understand that there is an issue there. But at this point, there's a lot of investigative work that needs to go into understanding what created that issue. And I'll end there, but I do want you to leave here tonight with the full understanding that we have not dismissed any of your phone calls. Just because you haven't heard from us doesn't mean we're not taking it very seriously. Because I can tell you, we've had a lot of conversation. I've had conversations with counsel, District Clerk Parada and I have had conversations about your FOIL requests and what we can give you, because the law is very specific. So I hope that at least when you leave here tonight, you feel heard and you leave knowing that we are investigating the matter very seriously.
I understand that. I'm here tonight to make sure that everyone on the board is aware, and also the public is aware that there's been an issue here, and that you might think that the problem is solved with a pile of rocks, but it's not. Okay? And that's what I'm here for. The damage that occurred is a different issue, and I'm not here to discuss that. I'm really here to discuss that someone is looking into a solution, because what has been built is not correct and it's not working. That's all.
And therein, sir, lies the litigation.
Well, the thing is this, something has to be done before the next spring, because if we're getting water now, ponding water now, with this 5-foot berm, we're gonna have the same problem, if not worse maybe, than when the swell was built, and I got all the damage.
Right.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Really?
Okay. We are now ready to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Christine, second. Lori, all in favor? Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.